This is going to be a little meditation and relaxation video. I say meditation, it won't be guided. If you don't know how to meditate, I'm sure there'll be something on the internet. And then just listen to my voice. I'm sure you've had a lovely weekend. 2 or 3 beers, 3 or 4 glasses of wine, 5 or 6 grams of beak, and now it's time to take 10 minutes to recover and relax. Let's meditate together. Lie back on your bed, sit in a comfy chair, or fold yourself into that sort of pretzel thing that yoga people do. And breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. Keep doing that, or things will get bad. I want you to listen to some running water, maybe, or birds, yep, listen to birds, some tweeting birds. Maybe not like a jackdaw at 3 a.m, but the sparrows, definitely some sparrows, and they're on your feeder. Listen to them, there they are, chirping away. Oh, is that a robin? Isn't it lovely? Was that a nuthatch? Don't be ridiculous, you live in a suburban area. Nuthatches wouldn't come anywhere near your house. While you're there, in your pre-meditative state, hopefully still breathing in and breathing out, I'm going to take you on a little moral journey. Once upon a time, there was a frog who lived in a pond. And this froggy sat there one day in the sunshine. Beautiful day, dragonflies swooping around. He's not eating them because they're all friends in this story. And he looks over the pond and he sees a farmhouse with an open window. He wonders to himself, what's inside that window? So he turns to a robin who sat on a pitchfork, idly stabbed into a huge pile of rotting compost. Steam lazily rises in the warm summer sun from the rotting manure, wafting its delightful aroma up to the beak of the robin, who drinks it in. Well, breathes it in, but it's a saying, drinks the smell in. "Excuse me, Mr. Robin," says the frog. "What is it, frog?" "See that window over there?" "Yes," says the robin. "What goes on there like?" "What do you mean?" says the robin. I think the answer's in the question. What goes on there like?" says the frog. Well, says the robin, I think that's where the farmers live. Right, says the frog. Is there anything good inside that window? I think so, says the robin. The farmer's wife often brings nice things out of there. One day she brought me some crumbs of cake. I gobbled them up quickly. I think there might have been a currant in one of the bits. It was right nice. Says the frog. Do you think there's anything in there for me? I don't know, says the robin. Hey, Badger, says the robin. Badger! What? Says the badger. Do you reckon there's out in that kitchen for a frog? Doubt it, says the badger. Right, thanks for your input, says the robin. No problem, anytime, says the badger. He says probably not, says the robin. Well, I'm going to find out, says the frog. Well, good for you, says the robin, and off he flies, flittering off to go and send some other robin away from a perch that he also regularly uses, because that's what robins do. They're like marauding little red-breasted, angry men, or women, or any mixture thereof that you care to imagine, because we are all inclusive if nothing else. So, the frog tidies all his little pond stuff away, makes his bed, because he's a good little frog, brushes his teeth with his little frog toothbrush. Do frogs have teeth? Brushes his teeth with his little frog toothbrush, and then bids goodbye to, well, no, because the robin's gone away, waves goodbye to the pond, and sets off hopping across the grass. It's hard work for such a small frog to hop through long grass in the warm morning sunshine, but he makes progress, and slowly, the window comes further and further into view, until finally he's sat beneath the window staring up. Oh, how do I get in there, he thinks. He stops for a minute, scratches his head, scratches some other parts, and just sits down and feels a little bit sad. I'm not going to get in there, he thinks. I'm going to be stuck never knowing what happens in the kitchen. Just at this point, a huge, great big portal through the wall opens. We know them as doors, but he's just a frog, don't blame him. The door opens, and out strolls an enormous, great, big woman, farmer's wife. She drops a long tube that used to have cling film on it, just about the right size, and it's quite convenient, I know, but she drops the cling film tube and it lands across the step, allowing the frog to crawl through the tube up and into the kitchen. I'm in, he thought. I'm in. Now what? He looks around. There's all sorts. There's a funny looking cyclops machine, white with one big eye that seems to spin round and round and round and make loads of noise. Smells funny as well. Bit clean, soapy. Wonder what he's about. The cyclops roars and his eyes spin faster. Oh, I'm not going near him, he says. goes away from the one-eyed Cyclops with the spinning, roaring eye. And there's a stool that leads to a chair that leads to a table. He hops onto the stool, hops from the stool to the chair, and hops from the chair to the table. On the table is an enormous bowl. In the bowl is a massive amount of cream. Ooh, that looks nice and cool on this hot summer's morning, thinks the frog. And he shoves the butter next to the bowl, climbs up on the butter, and leaps like it's a, them springy diving board things, but it's butter, so there's not quite as much spring to it. Does some sort of fancy double pike turn and lands straight plop into the cream. Oh, and it's delightful. It's cool and it's soothing on his froggy skin. He swims around. He swims front stroke, back stroke, bit of breaststroke for now. And soon he's quite content, and he's sufficiently cooled and calmed and ready to explore the rest of the kitchen. So he goes to climb out, but the sides are too slippery. What am I going to do? He thinks. He swims to the other side of the bowl, tries there, but it's the same. This steep-sided cream pudding bowl thing is impossible to get out of. The sides are too steep and it's far too smooth and slippery. Well, what shall I do? He just keeps himself at the edge and he continues to swim. That sort of treading water thing that you have to do to keep your head above the water. But he's doing it to keep his head above cream, and, well, it seems to be working, so he does that while he has a think. Well, I'm not going to get out of here without help, he thinks. I'll just have to keep swimming. 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 He continues to swim and refuses to give up. I will think of something eventually if I just keep trying. He swims and he swims and he swims all through the day, all through the night. He swims and he swims and he treads water, which is kind of swimming, and he swims and he swims all to the next morning, on the verge of exhaustion, where most people would give up. He continues to kick, and then, quite by magic, he notices that the cream now has fatbergs floating in it. Because he hasn't given up, the cream has churned to butter. The frog climbs up onto the biggest chunk of butter, which can support his weight quite conveniently, and he jumps out of the bowl, saving himself. He lowers himself back to the floor, from the chair to the stool to the floor. The door is again open out of convenience. The tube isn't there, but he doesn't need to climb, he can just hop down. Much slower than last time, he makes his way back to his pond, gets himself into his little bed, and goes fast asleep. Never give up.